Oh, baby. The 2024 Best Ball streets are on fire. They're heating up, and baby, we're here for it. Welcome into Club Fantasy FFL, and welcome to Masterclass, our newest show on Club Fantasy FFL. Tonight, we are diving into the DraftKings Best Ball streets. And as always, our co-host and professor, Miss Stacy Perez at Stacy_Perez83. How are you this evening, lady?
I am great. You know, we've got the schedule coming out. We've got playoff hockey. We got baseball going. We got all these best ball drafts. Scares like literally the best sports time. Everything is happening all at once, and I can't get enough.
Christmas is finally here.
Yes.
All right, so we're getting into the DraftKings Best Ball streets tonight. Something we haven't never done.
I know. Is the new one. We're popping that cherry tonight, the DraftKings cherry, guys. I know it's 8:30. I'm straying into I'm gonna get us like flagged or something.
Wait, first of all, we must be drinking tonight.
Oh no, this is actually just Coke Zero.
There's a Coke. Oh, Coke Zero does that too, Stacy. Okay. Hello.
Not the original Coke recipe, guys. It's the one that's out right now. So we're doing the DraftKings one, guys. So if you want to draft with us tonight, this is similar to Underdog. So you're going to have to get on there, and we're going to have to all hit that button at the same time and cross our fingers and hope real hard that we're all in the same draft room. So I'm going to tell you right now, Gator, can you share my screen so I can show everybody what we're up to here and which one we're clicking?
Yeah, right, let me see if I can make this a bit bigger for everybody. Which one are you going to, Stace?
That is what she said. We're going to do this first one right here that I'm hovering under. So this is going to be, there's several, as you guys can tell, there's several different best ball tournaments on here, all sorts of different price points from $3 to $10,000. We're not doing the $10,000 one tonight.
Come on, Stacy.
Taught us. Maybe we can kick that one off next week. But until then, we're going to be doing the $20 entry fee for the very first one. It should be the first one that pops up on your screen when you go to the NFL and best ball tournaments. It's going to say NFL Best Ball 15M Millionaire 1.5 mil to first. So if you're wanting to draft with us, slide on over, hit that enter button right now. And yeah, did I do that right? Hopefully so.
You were in the draft.
Okay, good. Well, at least I'm in the draft.
You see, here's something with everything else that we've done, like Underdog, or even when we did now we have that piece.
Oh wow. Okay, so wow, that just like, man, we got in there fast. So I will tell you, I did one of these on Sunday night, just so I could kind of get a good idea, because self-admittedly, guys, I don't draft a ton on Underdog. And also, you guys are going to have to bear with us a little bit tonight. So I can't figure out a way. If somebody knows in the chat how to do this, let me know, please. But I can't figure out a way to separate the draft board from the queue. Like on Underdog and FFPC, we've done that before, where we just show the draft board up on the screen so you guys can see it. So you're going to see my queue. You're going to see guys that are in there. If you're drafting with us tonight in the chat, I guess I'm just going to have to try to outsmart all of you.
That's right.
See what I'm doing.
Yeah, and if you're in the
people that I don't really want in the queue, just to confuse everybody.
There you go. And if you are in the chat and drafting with us, let us know. That we can call you out when you make a bad pick. Absolutely.
Exactly. I see Jim here. Jim is in the chat.
Yeah, I was afraid that was I was afraid that was your Jim there. I was afraid of that.
So we'll see. We're probably going to be sniping each other all night long.
Well, you know what time it is, Stacy?
So
the bell is ringing. The bell is ringing. Class is in session.
Yes.
Let's get this draft going.
Let's do it. So we've got 30 seconds before draft starts. Guys, like we talked about, so obviously best ball tournament, we are a best ball show. This is, according to DraftKings, their biggest best ball tournament ever. What that means is that 1.5 million is going to first place overall. 1 million is going to second, which is wild. I think that's such a small, like a number that's different there. Significant cash prizes going all the way up to 1,021st place, up to $1,000. Okay. These are 12 team leagues. The scoring is a little bit different, kind of similar, but they've got some little quirks in here that are going to be really important to how we're building our roster that we're going to get into in a little bit. This is going to be a 20 rounder, full point PPR, 12 guys on the bench, 8 starting, 30-second clock, as you can see right here. So, and this is also 150 max. So it's a $20 entry fee, 150 max. You can do that math there. I will not be doing 150 of these, but I'm sure some people will.
Yeah, I just want to catch up on the chat real quick. Albert is in the chat. Thank you, sir, for joining us yet again, as always. Michael in the chat as well. Josh is in the chat tonight. He says he needs to find us a bell noise to upload for the best ball. Yeah, I like that as well. Yep. Michael says, hopefully gets to it in time. Some people on DK take the whole timer. I don't get upset at people that take the whole timer. But then he jumps back in and says, "Oh, it's only a 30-second one, so it shouldn't take too long." And then our friend and Don in the chat, happy Tuesday to you too. Glad everybody could join us. All right, Stacy, you just took Justin Jefferson. You're at the 5 spot here. CMC, Tyreek Hill, CD Lamb, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, wide receiver 4.
Heavy. Yeah. Wide receiver 4, Justin Jefferson, right?
He sucks so bad. He's
Isn't that
so
crazy?
bad.
And it's all just because we have no idea what's going to go on with his, with his quarterback this year. But I don't care. He's number 1 in my heart. So I'll take Justin Jefferson all day long at the 5. That's a gift. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know how. I mean, I get it in some minds, but it's still Justin Jefferson. I don't care who his quarterback is. He did it with Kirk Cousins. He's got to be QB proof, at least in my opinion. But let's talk about DK and what is different about this platform.
Yeah, so like we talked about, there's some definite scoring differences here. So obviously it's all online. There's not any live drafts. You know how we did FFPC last week. Lots of live drafts there. Last year, I believe they had a $10 tournament. I know I participated in that, did a couple drafts there. But they've got several best ball options. You guys saw that when we went to log in and pick which one we were doing. A ton of different ones, different price points, $3 up to $10,000. I don't know if 10,000 is their highest one or not. I would probably guess it would be. But really, you can do so many different things here. Let me scroll down here and talk about the specific, points in the scoring and everything, and why this is going to become an issue when we start to put together our roster. So you get roster yardage bonuses for 300 yards passing if you're a quarterback. You get you get a 3-point bonus for 100 yards, both receiving and rushing. So those are, to me, going to make our running backs, our tight ends, our receivers more valuable than really, the quarterbacks at this point, because you get the benefit of the extra PPR, right? And you get those bonus yardage points. So definitely something that you need to think about when you're drafting. And especially it's going to be important, I think, when we get towards the back end of this draft.
Well, you're coming up on the clock. So I read off the first 5. I'll go ahead and read off the last of the first round with Amon-Ra St. Brown, Breece Hall, Bijan Robinson, A.J. Brown, Puka Nacua, Marvin Harrison Jr., our first rookie off the board. They're at 111. Saquon Barkley at 112. And then going into the second round, we had Travis Kelce come off. And this is where Mike jumps in and he says, very early in his opinion. Now, again, we got to look at these bonuses that you just brought up and these yardage bonuses. Don't know that Kelsey's going to hit a ton of the yardage bonuses, but
right.
I mean, you're on the clock here in like 5 seconds. So what is your thought process here with Kelce already off the board? Is it time to go get Laporta this early? I know how big of a Laporta girl you are.
I am a Laporta fan, Gator. That's kind of fun. I've got JJ. I'm actually gonna go grab Brandon Ayuk. I haven't been in a
Okay.
position to get him very much lately. And I mean, although, we're talking about exposure and things like that, but this is my first DK draft, so really exposure doesn't really matter as much for me in this draft as it would on maybe an underdog draft where I've done a lot more so far this season. But just for build purposes, I haven't had a chance to grab Ayuk yet. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and grab him there. Um
So as long as Jim doesn't turn around and take Laporta at 211 or 3-2, because we know he's all in on the Laporta train as well. Up
Oh,
and
well.
there he goes. So
See, this is what happens.
my question was going to be, are you coming back to get Laporta in the third round?
I if I could have gotten him in the third right there, 100%, I would have taken
Yeah,
him. That's gonna be a huge value, I think,
yes.
here. Now this is not tight end premium, so, Kelsey's probably going a little early there. You probably could have gotten Laporta in the third round. I really probably wouldn't have. I don't think you could push it longer than that,
Well, do
but
you think because Kelsey goes off at 2-1 that forced somebody's
yeah.
hand to Laporta this early?
Yeah. And it may, I mean, this is kind of one of those things when we talk about, like taking what the draft gives you and seeing what's going on in the room and what positions everybody else is valuing right
Mhm.
now. So obviously you can tell this is mainly we got yellow all over this board. So, you're starting three receivers in this format here. So that's going to be huge. That's going to be super, super important. In my opinion, you could potentially even, start four if you're using that flex position as well. So you're going to see, and that's similar to how underdogs, format is too. So you're going to see those guys going so much quicker, all those really good receivers, which to me, that's kind of what I'm looking at doing is, when you're talking about builds, I'm probably going to be going heavy receiver and kind of holding off on running back until a little bit later in the draft. So maybe doing a zero RB build. I don't have any issues with people doing like a hero RB build in this format at all. If you can get McCaffrey, right, you're getting McCaffrey. Let me make my pick real quick.
Yeah, I was just going to bring up, with the last pick of Mike Evans there, believe that 17 wide receivers off the board in the first. Now you just took DJ Moore, so that's 18 wide receivers off the board, in the first 3.5 rounds. And you look at it, you've got one team one here, who's
Mhm.
got CMC, Kyron Williams, and then Derrick Henry, straight RBs down the board.
Right.
My question for them, and then possibly a team 8 here who has Bijan Robinson and Jonathan Taylor, love
Yeah,
the running backs.
they
But
do.
like in this situation where you have to start 3 wide receivers, and then
Yeah.
of course then there's that flex. So and then of course you have the bonus that
Right.
a lot of normal fantasy players don't play with the bonus anymore. At
Yeah.
least
No.
the regular leagues. Josh Allen going off the board. They're at 3-7 first quarterback. But you have the bonuses that, like, again, we don't have in most leagues in this best ball format. You're not going to be hitting these bonuses on a regular week if you're going to go RB heavy.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm looking at the first team, right? They've got McCaffrey and Kyron Williams. They're going to be used, especially McCaffrey a lot, as in pass catching too. So you're going to be able to benefit from that from him. But, Derrick Henry is really not going to be used that way. I mean, you're probably going to hit that in the yardage maybe. I know he likes to go off whenever they play the Texans. I don't know if that's going to translate now that he's in Baltimore or not. But just something to kind of think about too when you're putting your team together in this kind of format is that now especially being at the number one spot, he's kind of now he's going to have to wait if he takes a receiver, in the fourth round. I mean, look how many receivers are off the board at this point. So you're going to be looking at a guy who's probably not the number one on his team by the time it gets all the way back to you. So, I'm looking at, all the teams that have started off with, receiver heavy, Jim's team, the 3 team, my team, 4 team, those guys are all number ones on their team. So you're starting off with, putting yourself in a really good position there to take 3 ones, off the board. And those are going to be your 3 starters, 100%. Oh, you're on mute, Gator.
Sorry, Team 11 is the exact same way. Marvin Harrison Jr., Garrett Wilson,
Yeah.
Cooper Kupp, who may not be the one on his own team, but he's
Yeah.
still a solid 2. And then he wraps around and comes and gets DK Metcalf, who is definitely the one on his team. So he's got
Yeah.
3 1s and a 2.
Hmm.
And we're not even talking about anything else as far as position. Then team 9 turns right around and go get Zay Flowers. So now their build is we can see the teams that are building through the wide receiver, which is exactly how I like to build as well. I know you do.
Yeah. And I like what Michael said too, right here. Team 12, has definitely kind of put themselves in a bit of a position to be kind of, a little iffy there at wide receiver. They've got Barkley, Kelsey, Jacobs, and Hurts. I mean, all great players, but you still have to look at the format that you're drafting in.
Mm-hmm.
Your team makes sense there. So, I mean, me personally, that's not a build that I would do, just because I do tend to, prioritize taking receivers in something like this. And I think Michael's exactly right. They're probably going to end up flexing Kelsey most weeks. So
yeah, that's going to make it rough because now you're sitting there with no wide receiver.
Yeah. Yep. So if he ends up at the flex, you've got to go get another tight end somewhere.
He may have to go get 6 more tight ends.
So many options here. Let's take a look. We got 11 seconds left. I better pick it up.
Yeah, I'm loving the Keenan Allen pick right here.
You like Keenan Allen? Yes. I was going to go Trey McBride.
Okay, well go Trey McBride then. I don't hate that either. Fourth tight end off the board in the 4th round. 3/4 of the way through the 4th round, but two quarterbacks off the board right now with Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts.
Yes. Yeah, those and when you think about it, right? I mean, obviously they're studs, right? These guys are going to be, beneficiaries of that 300 passing yard bonus there that you're going to get 3 extra points, for. But they're the only team that doesn't they're the only other position that doesn't really benefit from the extra full PPR. So essentially when you're looking at the end of the year, and there's a lot of websites that have done some really great, breakdowns with the scoring here and what that looks like. They're going to have less value as far as scoring goes than your other positions will, or take up a better or smaller percentage, I guess, of the total scoring, is probably a better way to say that. Jim, buddy, I cannot believe you took CJ Stroud from me. That was really rude, but it does go with your Stephon Diggs pick. So I guess I can't hate on it too much.
Yeah, I thought we were going to see somewhat of a quarterback run there with Lamar Jackson, CJ Stroud coming off at the end of the 4th round, which is probably maybe the end of the 4th round, beginning of the 5th is probably where I expect to see some of these quarterbacks go off. The Josh Allen, the Jalen Hurts pick, I think were quite a bit early, especially in this format. Mm-hmm. It brings up the ultimate question when you look at those two teams in particular. What it is, Team 7 and Team 12 here. Breece Hall, Devontae Adams, Josh Allen, Dalton Kincaid, 4 completely separate positions. We're just throwing darts at the board here and playing pin the tail of the donkey as far as I'm concerned. When it comes to if it doesn't even look that there's a strategy involved in this. We're just taking whatever ADP says. And what do we say about ADP?
Don't be a slave. ADP. Gator, what would you think if I took Keenan Allen right here, considering I have DJ Moore?
I mean, somebody's going to pop every single week. This is best ball.
Yeah, I love it.
It doesn't. Yeah, we don't. Hell, there could be multiple weeks, and now, Jim, plug your freaking ears. And now in round 6, maybe round 7, depending on how it goes, now we can look at that Caleb Williams double stack.
I know, everybody plug your ears. I actually was thinking also about Xavier Worthy right there, who just goes, with the 5-7 spot. he was one I was thinking about as well. But I'm kind of curious to see if I can pull off a Chicago stack. There's something that I'm trying to do, and I'm not going to bring it up until the end of the draft in case I don't get it done. But
put it in the private chat. That way I know if it gets done. And that way nobody can say, well, you didn't say you that's full. That's bold. That's bold.
I have a plan, guys. I swear I have a plan.
What are we doing? What are we doing, teammate? Stop it. Stop doing that, teammate. Bijan Robinson, Jonathan Taylor, Travis Etienne, and now Rachaad White. What are we doing?
Logan's messing with us. I think Logan is messing. I don't know who Logan is, but I think he's messing with us here.
Yeah.
Better go get Anthony Richardson if he's trying to pull off an indie thing he's got going on over here, it looks like.
Yeah, he did get he must be Taylor an indie fan.
Yeah. yeah, maybe go with a little AD Mitchell in a few rounds.
Yeah, Jim said, blame the guy between the two of you. He wanted Jackson, so he settled. He had to settle for CJ Stroud there. I'm sorry, Jim, that you had to
Settle
settle
for
for
CJ
him. Yeah.
Stroud. Isn't that terrible? Jim, go to class. Go to class. Go draft in class, buddy. Like, stop.
Does that mean he's muting us? That's probably a
I
good
hope
thing, Jim. You
so.
should have done that to start the night.
I hope so. I will tell you a fun little story, Gator. You'll appreciate this. So back when I was in law school, I took a couple classes that were night classes, and inevitably, right? What starts usually at 7:05, 7:25, 7:35, right? Baseball games. So always had the Braves. Because I'm in Tampa, I can't watch the Braves on the local station, so I always had like the MLB TV. And I would put it in the corner of my laptop screen so I could keep up with the games during class. And I swear one night it was like, I guess it had gotten a little bit past first pitch and I hadn't pulled it up yet. And I get a little tap on my shoulder and it's the guy sitting behind me. And he goes, hey, first pitch, put it up. Little did I know I was entertaining like the guys sitting behind me. Like we were all watching the game.
He wasn't stalking you. He was stalking your computer.
Exactly. So, I mean, it's a wonder I pass the bar, Gator, sometimes.
Yes, no doubt. No doubt. The roll says Worthy over at Dunze is wild.
I mean, I don't hate it. I prefer a Dunze as a player. I don't necessarily love Worthy, but this kind of goes to a conversation I was actually having with Jim the other day. We were talking about Rashid Rice last year. I mean, we were talking about all the other issues that he had going on as well. But, we were thinking like he wasn't a guy that we were super high on coming out of the draft. He wasn't a prospect that we really loved, but he just went to the perfect landing spot for him. And I kind of feel that same way about Worthy. Not a guy that I was super high on coming out this year, somebody that I didn't really care for that much. But maybe he's in the perfect position here with Patrick Mahomes. Who knows? So for that reason alone, I'm willing to take a gamble on him.
Yeah, I think the other side of that coin, and it's just basically this year because we're talking about best ball, so we don't give a damn about next year. Dynasty, 100%. I get the roles question here, but with the question mark of what's going on with Rashid Rice, and then you look at Odunze's and his situation is right now he's wide receiver 3 at best on his own team.
Yeah.
So I that's where I would caution people to go, okay, Odunze, let's move him up. Where did you look at what the Kansas City Chiefs had at wide receiver last year, and even going into this year?
Yeah.
And Worthy's going to make a difference and definitely going to be on the field, probably more than what Odunze is going to be in best ball. That's what we want the opportunity.
Oh yeah, at 100%. You're absolutely right there. I guess I could have gone Rome Odunze there and just had every single receiver in Chicago, right?
You could have. Let me read off this second round because I didn't even get to the second round, and we are already now into round 5. We had Travis Kelce, Garrett Wilson, Jahmyr Gibbs, Drake London, Jonathan Taylor, Devontae Adams, Chris Olave, Brandon Ayuk, Sam Laporta, Nico Collins, Stephon Diggs, and then Kyra Williams to wrap up the second round. And then when Stacy brings it back, I'll read the third round. But Stacy, you were on the clock, so what are we thinking here with this pick?
Now?
Are you? Oh no, you got you got a couple picks.
I was like, what?
Okay, I saw you switch the screen on me, and I was like, oh Lord, she's going to pick right now.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So I'm I'm thinking, okay, like I've got 5 receivers and a tight end here at this point. So we're in round 7. It's starting to get a little wonky with the running back situation. So I feel like, look, what did we say? We're potentially going to be starting 4 of these guys. There goes Montgomery. I'm on the clock now. I almost timed out and didn't get my guy. So let me go grab who could be interesting here? Not a Ramondre girl. I think I've got a little too much Chicago.
I love Najee Harris here, especially in the situation that he's in.
I agree. I am a big Najee fan this year. Historically have not been, but I just feel like since they decided not to,
Yep.
take him up on his 5th-year option, that he's gonna just be run absolutely into the ground.
Between that and having Arthur Smith as his
Yeah.
OC. Now, don't get me wrong. When Arthur Smith was an OC in Tennessee, there was some semblance of a passing game. But
Mhm.
once he took over the head coaching job, there wasn't, it was the backup running back.
Yeah.
It wasn't
Yes.
even their first round running back. But I
Right.
think going into this situation, he's got to rebuild some sort of reputation
Mhm.
for himself.
Right.
And what better person to do that than Najee Harris?
Oh, yeah, yeah. I love Najee here. I love Jalen Warren as well. Those are 2 guys that I probably need to chill out on drafting because I've taken them in so many different places. But I'm super, super high on them this year. And as my first running back, I'm getting a starter on a team that's probably gonna be pretty run heavy in the 7th round. I'll take that all day long.
Yeah, we go back to the Odunze conversation. Josh brings up
Mhm.
Odunze could easily see 90 targets this year.
Oh, yeah.
JSN was the wide receiver 3 in Seattle in this exact offense,
Yeah.
100%, and had 93 with Metcalf and Lockett,
Oh,
both
yeah.
over 100. So I don't hate that.
Mhm.
The only thing I'm bringing up, or the only argument that I'm playing devil's advocate here, is the opportunity for Odunze doesn't, at least in my head right away, doesn't show that he can be the number one guy, where it looks like Worthy could possibly be, may
Mhm.
have to be the
Yeah.
number one guy.
Exactly, and you always have to keep in mind with rookies is that, they may not pop right off the bat, the beginning of the year. They may take a little while to kinda just really integrate themselves into that offense, really kinda get up to speed and playing in the NFL. It's such a faster game than it is in college. So, towards the end of the season, he may come on and be a lot more valuable in fantasy, but good lord, there we go, another 4 running backs in a row, my goodness. Um that I saw the green pop up again, and I was like, "No way." But, it's
Stacey,
just one of those.
I
Yeah.
just thought about something as well.
Yes.
Going back to what Josh said here.
Mhm.
Yes, JSN did see 93 targets, but that
Yeah,
was with a Geno Smith, somebody that's been in the league a while, right?
yeah,
We're talking about Odunze, who
yeah.
is also a rookie with
Mhm.
a rookie quarterback who has
Right.
2 dominant, could be ones
Yeah,
in front of him. Yes, Tyler Lockett could be a one on the Bills right now,
right.
but he's not a one in any other team. So give him that wide receiver too. So let's at least in my opinion, let's slow down on saying yes, they both had 100 targets last year,
Mhm.
but it's not like DK Metcalf there's 2 DK Metcalf. So there's a DJ Moore and a um Keenan Allen in that offense without, and then of course a rookie quarterback at the same time. So
Right.
I'm still going to stay with the rookie wide receiver that has the veteran, multiple Super
Yeah.
Bowls quarterback to say no, dude, you fucked up, you did it the wrong way. Let's
Right.
next time turn left, don't go right.
Well, it's hard to, like, make that comparison, right? I mean, like, you're, asking a rookie to, being compared to, Patrick Mahomes. So, that's a little tough, right there for Worthy, but, um, I don't know. In Dynasty, I'm definitely more of an Odunze kinda girl.
100%.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I think it's gonna be interesting to see how it shapes out, at the end of the season with these 2 guys, and who knows? I mean, maybe one's hot in the beginning and the other one comes on a little bit later in the season. You just never know. So,
Yeah, and then the role jumps back in. It says, he is thinking he's way too used to dynasty here, so he needs to figure out the 2024
wow.
rankings. But I
Yeah.
and I think that's honestly where the original comment came from, and I think
Mhm.
it goes back to what it is. It's rookie season. We were in rookie overload.
Right.
And we know what we're talking about when it comes to dynasty, that
Yeah.
yes, absolutely Odunze should be wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4 at worst off the board.
Yeah.
And Xavier Worthy is 5, 6, 7, somewhere in that range, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's not, but I think when it comes to best ball, we have to reevaluate how we're doing it.
I almost just dropped an MFer, Gator.
Yep.
Jim, you and I are gonna fight later, over that Caleb Williams pick.
Yeah, I
I
wish I had control of
knew,
this board right now. Jim,
man.
sorry, Jim, you're banned.
Man, all right. Well, what are my other options here? This doesn't. Now, see, now I'm going to be forced to do something that I don't want to do right now.
Take the $180 million man.
Oh, Jared Goff. I mean, it doesn't go with my build, but
Oh,
yeah.
you didn't have to do it. You didn't have to do it. I
know, but now see, and this is what we say all the time, right? Like, don't get FOMO, people drafting. But I think the Caleb Williams thing really messed me up there. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, that
well, I mean,
doesn't.
the build is still good. The build is still good. So, let me ask you
Purdy
this:
would have been next there, but I was trying to wait for Caleb, because Purdy was my other thought, in this one, and I thought I can get Purdy a little bit later. He has been going a little bit later than most of these guys, so that's interesting to get on different formats and see what the ADP is for all these different players. What's up, Scampers? See you hanging out in the chat there. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, I'm waiting for Jim to pop into the chat. And go, well, I gave you 4 rounds.
I know. CJ Stroud and Caleb Williams. That is just absolutely absurd.
Jim, this is a 1 quarterback now. Stop it.
I know it. I know. Josh just sent me a message that I could probably draft on my phone and put the queue there. And that, Josh, I wish I would have seen your message earlier. And now I'm afraid if I try to switch it out and do that, that I'm going to mess something up. So maybe Gator will remember that for our next DK draft.
Yeah, these are the things we learn. These are definitely the things we learn.
Well, I mean, honestly, too, I mean, it's not like anybody couldn't see from a mile away what I was doing with the Chicago team. So I don't think any of the seeing my queue it just makes it not as nice to look at. But I don't think
I don't think anybody cares what your queue is.
No, I don't think so either. If you care what my queue is, then you got other issues. But go, everybody's
Stacey, I want to see what team 5 or I'm sorry, what team 8 is doing here. They went and gotten Njoku and Bowers.
Yes, that's fun.
Okay, that's what I thought it was. This is the team that has five running backs to start with. 2 running backs, now 2 tight ends.
Mm-hmm. So likely one of those guys is going to be in their flex spot, 100%, right? Bowers or Njoku. So you've got, Pittman, Thomas. You still got to start one more receiver. So I'm curious to see what they do with their next pick here in the 10th round. Mm-hmm. But yeah.
Yeah, that's an interesting build.
Mm-hmm. But see, that's the fun of doing these ones that are a little bit lower price points, right? Is that you can jump on and do different things and see how it works out. So, shake it up, do something a little bit different. You never know.
Yeah. 100%. But I guess I look at it as ultimately I want to try to win some of these, and
that's fair. Yes. That's too crazy.
Well, I guess when I look at it's so different.
Yeah.
That it's not even, in best ball, we talk about stacks and we talk about correlation, which tomorrow's schedule comes out. So next week we'll be able to dive into correlation quite a bit more than we have here over these first couple of weeks. But there is no, to me, when I first look at that team, I'm like, there is no stackables. I mean, it's complete random. It's just weird all around. Not saying I hate it, but I hate it. It's not something I would do.
How do you feel about that?
Now watch him go win 1.5 million, and I'll shut the fuck up then.
I'll tell you why I took Herbert here. Because I've got McConkey, and I was trying to at least do one stack because, like I said, when you've got these bonus points that you're trying to get out here and you want to maximize your points anyway with your, trying to stack and, do different things with those offenses to kind of really maximize the points that you can get every week. You don't have the schedule out yet. Like you talked about, we can do correlation next week. But that's kind of what I was like, all right, well, I've got to get 2 quarterbacks. I might as well try to get one that at least goes with somebody on my team. As opposed to nobody like Mr. Goff there. So I grabbed Herbert to go with McConkey. And yeah.
Know what we say. This is best ball.
It is best ball.
We don't mind the spike weeks and the down weeks.
Yeah, exactly.
There are still options out there to
oh yeah.
to go get.
Oh, yeah, for
If you'd have
sure.
taken Laporta, like I said in the second round,
I know, I know. I mean, think of how different my team would have looked if I had taken Laporta there at the second round instead of taking Ayuk, and pushing him a little bit.
and Mike
Yeah,
brings up
and
a very good point.
exactly, 100%. You can go grab Everett, that third tight end stack with Justin. That's a great idea. That's a really good idea. Mike, I'm gonna make a little note of that. I'm gonna be up here next. I want to go take a look and see who's still available.
Yeah,
And what
let's talk through this right quick. What are you
Ooh.
thinking? Look, oh,
Oh,
a
you like
spicy
that?
best ball player.
Yeah, yeah, I got a couple of spicy guys in there.
Mhm.
There's some spicy ones over here on this end. Gator, I'm gonna let you pick running back or wide receiver.
Running back or wide receiver, running back, wide receiver. Are we on the clock?
We got 16 seconds.
Oh shit! We got to go get I want to go wide receiver here, but I
Yeah,
feel like we should. Yeah,
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 wide receiver.
yeah. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah,
There we go. There we
yes.
go. There we go.
There we go. All right, so I just took Josh Palmer
Yeah.
there to go
I mean,
along with my Chargers.
currently the wide receiver one,
Hmm. Yeah,
and you have currently the wide receiver, what possibly is the
true.
two, to
Yeah,
go along with their quarterback. Don't know how
exactly.
much they're
So
going to pass this year, but
who knows? But you know what though? You can't discount Justin Herbert's arm. And I wish I could remember where I heard this specific stat the other day. I'm trying to remember. Oh, I was listening to the Fantasy Focus, and I want to say it was Field Yates that gave the stat. So anything he says is gold. They were talking specifically about this team, and everybody's saying, oh, it's going to be run heavy. You don't really want to invest in a lot of these, receivers. And I think he said that even the most run heavy offenses are only 48% run. So
mhm.
you're still looking at 52%, through the air. So I'm going to take that. And I didn't really know that about those numbers, actually like assigning a number percentage to what we tend to say is a run heavy offense. Like, well, what does that actually look like? So I'm glad that somebody did that. And I'm glad that I was listening when they said it. So it made me feel a little bit better about a lot of the Charger teams that I've got put together because I am a big Lad McConkey fan for this year.
Footwork, all about the footwork, all about the footwork.
Right? Yeah, just love it. Love that kid.
Well, I will say this probably a couple times tonight, but please do not forget to hit that likes button for us tonight. Hit
Yeah.
that subscribe button. Let Stacy know that she is the bomb diggity bomb of the professor.
Oh my
And
goodness.
of course, our very own Josh Hutchman pops in and says, I can
Yes.
share some percentages.
Send me some numbers, Josh. I went to law school, not math school, so I don't do the math. So somebody send me some numbers that I can visualize.
Guys,
That
just in case you don't know this, Stacy is an attorney that that all she does all day long, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying all she does, but what she does all day long is math.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm not very good at it, so thank God for computers. Um,
Calculators from the
yeah,
70s are such a
thank
great thing.
God. Oof. That's the joke is that lawyers go to law school because we hate doing math, we're bad at it, and then inevitably we end up having to do math every day. So here I am trying to, calculate child support numbers and things like that, which are just a nightmare to do. So yeah, so living a nightmare every day, trying to do math.
Yes.
I'd much rather be drafting. It just really gets in the way of all this fun drafting that we can do during the day now.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I hear from you on a regular about your lunch break drafts.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I love a good lunch break draft. Ooh, it is it's gotten a little ugly here, Gator in running back world. Uh
I think it's time to go ahead and snag a couple running backs that
you think
are.
so? These are kind of rough. I've got like 2 seconds left.
Oh well, you better pick then.
I don't like any of these. I'm gonna do something probably irresponsible and take another receiver that I do like there a lot better. I have 7 now. I can probably chill out at this point. What do you think?
Yeah, I've got one more for you to think about. I don't know if this guy will come off the board or not, but But I do got to bring this up. Scampers brought it up in the chat. Everett signed with somebody else, and that was the Bears. So Everett is not stackable in this situation. But Will Dissly.
Yeah, Will Dissly might be.
Yeah. When it comes down to it. Just put that out there. And then
I only have to start 2 running backs. So technically, I've got my 2 already. I'm kidding, guys. I am going to draft more running backs. I think at this point,
Josh is jealous.
Lunch break, never heard of her. Yeah. There you go.
I'm going to post to Twitter for people to rate their professor.
Oh my God. Please don't. Well, that's terrifying.
No. Stacy, I mean, 10 out of 10 every single time. And if they have anything to say about it, I've got people.
All right. I got you. This is not pretty. Some of these options here, Gator.
This is the best ball streets that we choose, right?
Yeah, I mean, I did this. This is my own fault here. Any of these guys float your boat?
I mean, Tyler Algiers was legitimate last year. Tracy's got a path, but it's through an injury. Yeah, I mean, Chuba Hubbard's is garbage. Ty Chandler's garbage.
Yeah.
Keaton Mitchell, I mean,
maybe. All right, Algier.
Dart throw.
Yeah, dart throw. All right, guys. Well, here's the thing. I am definitely going to max out my points at receiver this year, and at least with this team. And maybe my running backs are not that great, and I have done this to myself, so I'm just going to have to suck it up and deal with it.
Yeah, it's going to be a rough one, but hey, that's the one position I think you can survive, right?
Yeah. I mean, you literally only have to start 2. You only have to start 2. And historically, we all know RB2 is the least valuable position in a draft, whether it's best ball, redraft, whatever it might be. Josh, I think Josh is right here. Aaron, I think he's going to play more than 7 games, but I do think that Chandler is great value in drafts. I don't dislike Chandler as much as some people do. Gator, that's fine. That's okay. We can disagree. That's what makes good conversation.
Well, I mean, if we agreed on everything, nobody would come and watch.
Exactly, 100%. But in the 13th round, I don't hate Ty Chandler. I mean, I'm not taking him probably any higher than that, but I don't hate him in the 13th round.
Well, no, again, this is best ball. So again, we like the spike weeks. We don't give as many cares about the down weeks, because hopefully we have somebody else that is gonna pop off that week, and we'll forget that Drake London only had 2 catches for 4 yards. We'll forget all about that in week 4 of week 6 and week 9. We'll forget all about those. No, I have not forgot about that last year, Drake London. Thank you, or Art Smith, whatever. No, but that's the thing though, is we do want those spike weeks from everybody, from the 18th round to the 3rd round.
Exactly.
Are we 18 rounds tonight, or are we just 17? I'm not
20.
Oh, we are 20 rounds, 29. Oh, so we got
a ways to go.
Shoot, I still got a chance to be drafted then.
Right? Yeah. So what is that? 12 rounds times 20. What is that? 240? Is that right?
Yeah, then I don't have a chance to get drafted. I was rated 251.
Yeah. 12 times.
Oh well.
Yeah, 240 players are going to be drafted. So, it's important to know depth charts when you're looking at doing a draft like that's this deep. Make sure you know those depth charts. Make sure you know what guys are out there, on teams when it gets down to this point. You're going to be drafting a lot of backups, and you want to have that information available at your fingertips. Now, there is a website, Our Lads. I use that for my depth charts. It's really easy to navigate. So, like I said, I have it bookmarked, honestly, so that I can just immediately go to that and say, okay, where are these guys fall? And it's not necessarily as important, where they have them listed, but just to know, oh yeah, this player, we just talked about with Everett, right? That he moved to Chicago. And, how many people are really paying attention that much to, Gerald Everett? Probably not too many, right? So it's good to have that information kind of at your fingertips.
Yeah, that is exactly what I did. I have
Yeah.
forgotten that Everett got moved or signed with the Bears.
Yeah.
So I immediately went to our lads. I use them. They're not 100% all the time, but they're as
They're
close as
close
you
though.
can get most of the time.
Yeah, exactly. They're pretty close. And what's nice too is that they highlight the rookies that are on the team.
Yes.
What's up, Chris? Chris
Yeah,
B.
first time, long time.
Yeah.
What is an underrated strategy that you find to be useful when attacking the middle rounds
Yeah.
before we start throwing darts, or as I like to call it, because I don't like throwing darts, except for on Friday nights,
Right.
pin the tail on a donkey or handcuff tears.
Yeah. So I mean, if you're in the middle rounds, like you're gonna be, in this draft, you're probably talking about like your 9, 8, 9, 10, something right there. That's when you're just gonna start looking at if you're doing a zero RB build, that's when you're gonna want to go grab those running backs that are still available, that are guys that are gonna be making a difference on a team, for sure, rather than guys that, who knows what's gonna happen. Like I just took Tyrone Tracy here and hopefully he's as good as everybody thinks he's gonna be. So that's kind of, I think, what you're looking at there is you want to make sure that you're getting guys that are for sure starters on a team. Man, everybody's taking my players. I don't. This is just rude at this point. Um,
Stacy, I have to pause you for just a quick second.
oh, Christopher. Christopher.
My dude, with with the super chat, Bucks stink.
I
Go
know.
Saints. Who dat?
I can't. That was unnecessary.
It's unnecessary, but he paid for me to say it, so I'll say it.
He did.
Appreciate old Chris B jumping in here doing that. Absolutely. So I didn't mean to cut you off, but he threw that up there, and when it comes to the super chats, I feel like
Yeah.
those gotta be yeah, clip that. Call Josh, see if you'll do it for you. I'm not doing it. I feel like those
I'm
gotta be
just
put front and
glad.
center. So let's get back over to before the dart throws, before the handcuffs, these
Yeah,
middle
yeah.
tiers. How are you attacking them?
I think you just like as I was trying kind of just getting there, it's like, you want to make sure you're taking guys who are going to be starting, going to have an opportunity to get on the field. We've said that numerous times. It's nothing that, like I ever came up with. I always heard this from Matthew Berry that, you take guys that have talent plus opportunity, right? And I think that's how you want to attack those mid rounds, as you're looking for guys who are talented, who are going to have a path to get on the field and get those targets. So that's what I'm looking at in my mid rounds, kind of evaluating them that way. And I'm just really glad that Chris chose to say go Saints instead of go Leafs.
Well, he can't say that. He can't say that. They were horrible. 1940 something or other.
So I can't. 1967 is the last time I believe they
67.
won.
Okay. So it's been 40, 50, 60 years, something like that. Okay, cool.
Yes. So who knows? Man. I wanted to also say, hey, we've got some other friends here in the chat. Bonnie jumping in.
Bonnie.
Yes.
Queen Bee.
I'll pick in round 14. We are heading into round 16 right now, actually.
Anne says she had to pop out for a bit, but hope she didn't miss anything exciting.
Well, if you did, you can always catch us on the replay that we put up on the YouTube channel every week right after this. And if you haven't already, you can make sure to subscribe to us. Gator, how close are we to 1,000?
Oh, Josh is smiling so big today.
Yeah.
We are at 20? 19?
19 more subscribers before
18,
we hit 1,000.
Somewhere in that range. 18?
982, guys. 982.
Yeah, so 18 more, and Josh,
yeah.
And then Josh was going to go on vacation to Turks and Caicos.
Yeah,
and then I don't know what his return date from that is.
Yeah.
So I he may not come back. I don't know. We'll keep plugging along though.
Who knows?
We don't need Josh. We have you, we have me, we have Ryan, we have Chris, we have Austin. Shows left and right. I mean, fun. 982 right now. 18 more to hit that 1,000, which is the goal for the season. We are definitely going to be crushing that. So absolutely hit that. And as Josh just says right here, once we get to 1,000, once we get these other 18 subs,
yes,
we're just on to 2K. On to 2K, as they say.
Let's go.
So
Um,
appreciate everybody that has subscribed, everybody that has hit those thumbs up on not just this show, but every single show across the channel.
yes.
It has absolutely been a blast for me.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm on the clock now. I've kind of neglected tight end a little bit. So need to go fix that. Out of these three, how you feeling, Gator? I've got Mayor,
Well,
Ertz, and Conklin,
um,
and 13 seconds left to
okay,
decide.
so real quick, Mayor, basically to me, the Vegas Raiders told us everything about Mayor that we wanted to not know, and that is they're going to take Brock Bowers and play him. Zach Ertz is old, but he's going to be coaching. He's going to be coaching. So give
Yeah,
me that. He's going to be coaching, but he's
okay.
going to be coaching from the field.
Yes, and you know, and this is a situation where I probably should go three tight end just because I've waited so long. I do have Trey McBride there, who's an absolute stud.
Bonnie wanted us to take
Yeah,
Conklin right
Conklin.
there.
Bonnie, I've got Conklin also on my list here. I really was targeting Johnny Smith, to be honest. So
Well,
I was
let me
trying
ask you this and just throw this out there. We
Mhm.
just took Zach Ertz.
Yeah.
Jim is going to be Jim. Plug your damn ears again. But Jim is picking 2 times before we pick again. If
Yeah.
Conklin is there, what's it going to hurt to double tap the tight end right here?
Yeah, it's not. It's not going to hurt at all. Especially, you know, we're in the 16th round here. We're going to be coming around the 17th. At this point, I only had one up until there. There were a few guys that I was looking at, and then it just didn't make sense to take them at that point. So that's kind of why we've waited for a little while.
I just want to thank whoever drafting it in the one position for getting Marvin Mims off the board. That way, Stacy wasn't tempted. So thank you for doing that. Go ahead, Stacy. I'm sorry.
No, it's
And
okay.
there
He
goes
also
Tyler
has
Conklin.
Conklin, so we're not going to thank him for that. That's okay because I've got one left. I have a thought process with the last one left. If he's still there, if Mayor is still there, I've heard several people that I really respect and think a lot of their analysis, that there's still, it's not, you know, like Mayor's value is not dead just because they have Bowers, that they can be used in different ways. They can be used into, you know, tight end personnel sets and things like that. So I don't necessarily think that he's completely to be written off at this point.
In the 17th round,
Yeah,
I don't think that anybody can be written off, right?
100%. Exactly. You're exactly right. So 17th round, I'm about to be up because, oh, Demario Douglas. Gosh, these are all my guys are getting taken right here, like McMillan, Demario Douglas. Love Demario Douglas, one of my faves. Just to make sure real quick, there's nobody else that I like here better. I really don't. Higby's a thought, but he's probably not coming back for a long time.
You don't like the Jatavion Sanders?
I don't care for rookie tight ends unless your name
Fair.
is Brock Bowers. And I don't think, you know, Brock Bowers is different, but other than that, I don't think that repeating what Sam Laporta did last year is really reasonable to put those kind of expectations on the rest of our rookies that are coming out this year. You know, so I typically shy away from rookie tight ends. And you know, just for those reasons, right? They're guys that are going and they're learning 2 positions. That takes time. And besides the fact that they are rookies. So, you know, you don't really see, of course, obviously Sam Laporta, a different story. We don't typically see rookie tight ends being super productive, especially for fantasy purposes, you know, their first year out. So I would prefer not to have, I'm not saying he's not gonna be great. Dynasty, go get him all day long. But I don't know that I want him in best ball right now.
Yeah, it is. Tight end is one of the outside of quarterback, one of the hardest positions to learn because you're not just learning the pass
Yeah,
routes, you're also learning the blocking schemes and that
exactly.
sort of thing. So it is absolutely one of the hardest. And I think that as a young tight end, first year, second year in the league, and this is why we look at tight ends as a 3-year project
Yeah,
in fantasy. Is first of all, you got to learn the blocking scheme because in order to be on the field, you got to be able to block as a tight end. So
exactly.
that becomes a number 1 priority, and then it turns into the
Yeah, what are your hands like? Can you catch? Can
right,
you
right.
Yeah.
Because I saw a
Mhm.
stat the other day, and I don't remember who put it out there, but it may have been Jeff Bell from Football Guys who may have put it out there, and I may be wrong, but since like the 1960s, there's
Mhm.
been 3 tight ends that have been dominant in their first year if in fantasy productions, and one of them we didn't even play fantasy football, and that was Mike Ditka.
Yeah.
You had Kyle Pitts and then Sam Laporta, of course, last year that were absolutely fantasy relevant year one. There were some other ones, tossed in, whatever, but nothing like those tight ends right there. So
no. And I think too, somebody that I really loved last year was Darnell Washington, right? I loved him as a tight end prospect. And he did an excellent job doing what Pittsburgh asked him to do, which was to get on the line and to block and to be that next guy there to kind of fill out, the rest of their O-line. They didn't ask him to get in the end zone. They didn't really ask him to do too much, on the offensive side, as far as catching. That maybe that changes this year, with Arthur Smith back there, how much he enjoys using random tight ends. So,
it's not going to be Freiermuth.
It's not, that's the thing there too, is like, do you get scared away from Freiermuth? Who knows? But like somebody that, maybe a fun little thing. I'm not going to do it here because I don't need 4 tight ends, but in a deeper league like this 20 rounder, why not take a dart throw at Darnell Washington Jr. at the, 20th round? Who knows? I would love to see that personally happen. I would love to see him get more usage because I just think he's just an absolute beast. But anyway, that's my little rant. Arthur Smith, I hope you're listening.
I couldn't help it. And Chris, I don't know if you're still in the chat or not, but I couldn't help it last night on the mock draft show. Of course, if you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's right here on Club Fantasy FFL on the YouTube. We had Pat Fitzmaurice on last night.
Yes.
And one of the players that I brought up that I really liked his landing spot, and of course where he landed in the mock draft, value wise was really nice as well. And that was Tre'Davion Sanders. Mm-hmm. And of course, then I had to weave this spider web back to your guy, Darnell Washington. and because I was talking about the hands and what I think that Tre'Davion Sanders is going to be. And I brought up Washington's hand size, and you could see Pat like, okay, I could kind of see what you're going. And I was like, wait, listen, Pat. Stacy, has to bring, every time she talks about Darnell Washington, she has to bring out a piece of paper just to show his hand size. His hands are bigger than a piece of paper, and Pat was like, okay, yeah, 11 inches, bigger than a piece of paper.
11-inch hands. The man's got hands the size of a literal sheet of paper. It's insane.
100%. I'm not sure if this is Josh or if this is Ryan. It could be either one of them. Currently have Bowers at 80 targets, 147 fantasy points in their projections. That would have been tight end 12 last year. Yes, tight end. It would have been a tight end 1, but a back end tight end 1. Sure. I would love to know where tight end 13 to 15 were when it comes to that range. And it is Josh. Okay. So Josh, on those,
Josh can do something with that math.
Yeah. What was tight end 13 to 15 or tight end 13 to 20 when it comes to fantasy points last year? Because there's a huge discrepancy when it comes to the tight ends. When, tight end 1 to 4 is decently close. And then from 4 to 20?
Yeah.
There's just a jumbled mess. Flip a coin.
And what I was kind of wondering with that question, I don't know if Josh can do that for me or not. Josh, what does that break down to points per game? That would make I've got something in my head about where points per game as far as those guys
go. So tight end 12 last year, 147 points would have been tight end 12 last year, 147. Tight end 20, eight other players would have only been 30 points. Which sounds like a lot, but it's really not when you're talking about 10 players. And Stacy, that would have been 8.69.
Okay. So
over 17 games.
That's kind of what I was wondering. So there were very few tight ends last year that made it up to 10 PPR points per game. I want to say maybe 5 max did that. And so, we were looking at tight ends and say, okay, like where's this guy going to go? Like, where should I take some of these guys? What's their potential? Okay. 8.6, that's probably pretty decent for tight ends if you're not getting one of those elite guys. So that's kind of what you can expect from that tight end position. So I tend to think if you can't get one of those elite guys that's going to at least give you that 10-point, PPR per game, I don't think that you need to stress out too much about that position, honestly.
Stacy, bring in,
Yeah.
I know we're talking about tight ends right here. But if you don't get one of those elite guys,
Yeah.
and you're sitting there, what, round 4, round 5, you have no tight end
Yeah.
in these formats like this.
Mm-hmm.
Are you sitting there going,
Let's see if
screw
we
it,
can.
give me the value somewhere else?
Yeah.
That's kind of my mindset, is like, if I can't get a Travis Kelce,
Right.
Sam Laporta,
Mm-hmm.
a Trey McBride, and I've got Kyle Pitts as one of my top 4s this year.
Yes.
But if I can't get one of those guys, I'm
Mhm.
okay waiting till around 7. Go ahead and get
Well,
Evan Ingram, David Njoku, and
mhm.
if I've got to drop even lower than that, then I'll
Yeah.
just go get 4 or 5 others. Jake
Look at
Ferguson
Bowers.
had over 100 targets last year.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look at the guys here that are going in the 9th round. I mean, obviously Hawkinson's going in the 9th round because he's hurt. But Bowers, Ferguson, Njoku in the 8th, Ingram in the 7th. Those are great. And if you take a look at, so like if you miss out on, let's say from Andrews on up, look at who you would be passing up just to go ahead and like take a tight end. You'd be passing up, Christian Kirk, Amari Cooper, Keenan Allen, Terry McLaurin, Jordan Addison, potentially Ladd McConkey, Jaden Reed, just as far as receivers go, like not to mention all like the really quality running backs that are at this position. So, I mean, and those guys are every single one that I mentioned is by far going to outscore any of those, kind of lesser tight ends.
Josh piping back in, 10 total tight ends with 10
Yeah.
fantasy points per game or more last year. I'm sorry. He
Yeah.
says 11. Schultz hit 10 exactly.
Got it. Okay.
And that's
So,
another one that people just don't listen. The guy's young, and he's a target hog when it comes to the tight end position.
I agree.
And until 2 years ago, you were picking him up off waivers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah. All right. Well, I said that I wasn't going to go for tight end, but there's somebody here who I think is a huge value, and he's only still here because he got injured pretty late during the season. So that's Tyler Higbee. I'm going to grab up Higbee because basically I didn't really care for anybody else that was here and this late in the 20th round. But if Higbee comes back, even if it's at the end of the season, right? Like I want to have a lot of points coming to me at the end of the season because I'm trying to get into the playoffs. And if I'm already in the playoffs, and Higbee comes back, he's a starter, right? Dave Allen's not keeping his job. Tyler Higbee comes back, that's going to be his job. And he's on a great offense there, in LA. So, if I can have him and a Trey McBride there, I have a good feeling that he would outscore probably both Mayer and Ertz. Honestly, probably put together. But that's, I'm just kind of taking a look at what's available here. And when you're talking about like this late in the draft, especially in a format like this where we've talked about like ad nauseum, this, like tonight, all these extra yardage bonus points, you want to make sure that you're taking guys with huge upside, right? That have potential to get you those points. And that's why I kind of like Higbee there, as opposed to somebody I did have like Malik Washington on my list. They just signed OBJ down there in Miami. I don't really know how much opportunity he's going to have to get on the field, as opposed to taking a guy who's going to be their starter as soon as he gets back from, his injury. So, and I don't need him right away either. I've got 3 other guys that can more than fill in for him.
Yeah, we've hit that hour mark right
Yes.
as we close the draft out here. Do we want to talk about your team a little bit, Stacy?
Do we want to talk about like completely off the rails in the 13th round?
It would have been about the 9th round when no, it would have been the 10th round. The 10th round. No, it wasn't. It was the 9th round. It was the 9th round when Jim just stabbed you in the back.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been about when it went off the rails.
He did. It did go off the rails a little bit there. Although I'll tell you, I do like my 10th round pick a little bit better than I like my first. Not that I don't like Jared Goff. That's just not what I was planning on doing there. Um,
The clock was ticking.
Damn clock was ticking. It just, that 30 seconds just really it goes by real fast. Um, so I'll tell you what I had tried to do a little bit here, Gator, and I said I wasn't going to say it unless I was actually able to do it.
Mhm. And it's
So
in the private chat, so I can copy and paste it for
you can.
everybody if they want to do it.
Exactly. So what I've kind of been wanting to do with a team this year, if I could make it happen and make it make sense, was to get several of the NFC North players. Because I think the
Jared
NFC
Goff.
North is going to be huge this year. I mean, you've got great offenses with, literally every single team, right? There's not one team in that division that is going to, be kind of a meh offense, right? Chicago's amazing, or what they put around Caleb Williams should be if it comes to fruition is going to be great. You've got Detroit's fantastic. You've got Green Bay's right there. I think maybe some people are a little bit worried about Minnesota, but as long as you've got Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison on your team, I don't really know how you can worry all that much. And then Hawk when he gets back, from being hurt. So I grabbed Jefferson, grabbed DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, run on over, get Jared Goff.
NFC North, NFC North, NFC
Exactly,
North.
all my NFC North
Jared
guys.
Goff. That's what I'm saying. Is that was
Yeah,
the type of build you wanted.
exactly. So it didn't, so I just kind of pivoted and took a different NFC North quarterback than I really wanted. But that was I think I probably would have done more had I not gotten a little off the rails there. But anyway, that was kind of what I was trying. And I think once, that schedule comes out tomorrow and we can correlate a little bit better, with the different teams, that in that 17th week, I think I might be able to do a little bit more there.
Yeah, I think this question right here from Chris is a
Yes.
perfect question, but
Mhm.
it also tends to
Yeah.
let's find out tomorrow what the schedule is going to be, right? What are we looking at next week? Are you more inclined to lean towards the dome teams in the NFC North for the playoff stretch?
I'm inclined to lean toward any dome teams, especially in week 17, or dome games. Rather, I mean, like last year, I think it was Dallas Detroit was week 17.
Mhm.
That was, I mean, it was one of, if it wasn't week 17, it was one of those last few games there. And that was huge. Everybody was trying to do a CeeDee Lamb, Amon-Ra St. Brown stack, towards the end of the first round. And so, yeah, so I definitely would be. I mean, weather is going to play a huge factor. Obviously, Green Bay and Chicago don't have domes. So you're going to look at, Minnesota and
Yeah.
Detroit a little bit more. But really anybody that has a dome, if there's potential weather, implications, especially in those last few weeks, I'm a huge fan of looking at those dome games a little bit more seriously.
Yeah, I can't wait till the schedule comes out because next week's best ball draft is going to be
Yeah.
phenomenal because then we will be able to talk not just correlation when it comes to the playoffs, but throughout the season. And because the most of the tournaments that we are talking about or that we are entering aren't even head to heads.
Right. Right.
So we want to get as many points week 1, week
Mhm.
2, week 3, so that when we do have that too many people on a bye week
Yeah.
5, too many people on a bye week 9, it
Mhm.
doesn't kill our teams.
Yeah. Or come week 13, because, inevitably there's going to be like 4 or 5 teams on a bye week 13, and it's going to be your studs, right? All of your
Mhm.
like really high powered offenses, because I am absolutely my tinfoil conspiracy theory is that whoever does the schedule hates fantasy football, because every single year we always get screwed week 13 when everybody's trying to make that last push into the playoffs if they're doing these tournaments where everything starts week 14, right? Like, or ends week 14. So that's your conspiracy theory for the day.
No,
Um,
it's not a conspiracy theory. It's a proven fact. They've come out and said they do not like fantasy football. They don't care.
oh,
But
well,
you know what? So just I just want to put this out there
yeah.
but Trey was on the Saturday Mock It Like It's Hot show.
Mhm,
And I've kind of leaned more towards the best ball side of things.
mhm.
Compared to my the everyday set your lineup fantasy football. I've moved that direction a little bit more. So like the leagues that I join are either best ball leagues, and there are leagues out there that are best ball that you can actually do waivers and trades and that sort of thing to make your team better. And
Yeah.
dynasty, because I play a lot of dynasty, but Trey was sitting there going, why are we so cavemanish
Mm-hmm.
that we cannot change our lineups? For instance,
Right.
a Christmas Day lineup, right? We have to have our lineup
Yeah.
set by Tuesday because Christmas
Yeah.
this year is Wednesday,
Wednesday. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then,
Mm-hmm.
but those lineups are locked.
Yeah.
But what if a guy gets injured in the first quarter of the game? The NFL can change their
Right.
lineup. Why can't we? This is why best ball is the best way to play.
Question for beyond our pay grade, Gator. Beyond our pay
No,
grade.
no, 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 no. No, it's not. We create a whole new pay grade. but
Maybe.
so our buddy Chris Battistow and my co-host on Monday nights,
Yes.
who's been in the chat a good bit tonight, he plays a lot of college football, a lot of C to C stuff, right?
Yeah. Oh
So
yeah.
I'm in a C to C league, and I was just with everything else going on, I thought I was gonna have to leave the league.
Oh
And
my goodness.
I hated to do it, but so I messaged the commissioner about it, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, long story short, one night I sit there and I was like, I messaged the commissioner earlier in the day. That night I was like, you know what? Screw it. Let me see. I messaged Chris. I was like, hey, would you care to co-manage? And he was like, hell yeah, I'd
Uh-huh.
do it. So I had the message. I messaged back to commission, blah, 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 got it done. He said, I don't have a problem with it. Check with the league. The league said, okay, let's do it. Boom. So
Yeah.
now I have Chris as my co-manager in this league. You know what Chris's first response was? Damn, this NFL squad is good. Then he
Love
looks
it.
at my college squad and he goes, damn, that college squad sucks.
Oh
But
my
the college
goodness.
side is best ball. Even college,
Yeah.
even C2C, we can play best ball. Don't have to
Okay.
worry about setting the lineup. So that was the moral of the stories. Best ball is the right way to play it.
Love best ball.
It will always fix your injuries, your late, sits, that sort of thing.
Yes. So much easier, especially if you don't have a ton of time.
All right,
Yeah.
Stacy, what's the back end of this lineup look like, and what are we looking, and how is this team going to win 1.5 million?
Gator, I don't know. This is a 1.5 milli team here. To be completely honest. But what I feel most confident about is that I'm so strong at receiver, and I feel like I've got guys here that have potential to get me those bonus points every week. I've got guys that can go over 100 yards, and Jefferson, Ayuk, DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Lam McConkey, Palmer, and Dotson here. So I feel stronger about those guys. I really do with my back end here, which is just primarily, backup players. I have guys in Tyler Algier that are going to get an opportunity last year. Tyrone Tracy is somebody that I think is a fun grab. Don't know, what's going to happen with him, right? He's a rookie. We don't really have a basis to know. Keaton Mitchell there, backing up Derrick Henry, hopefully, I'm not sure, is he still recovering from his, or is he still recovering in that recovery phase, but he should be good to go by the season starts, I think. Gainwell, Estime, guys that, are all kind of an injury away from opportunity, which is what you're kind of looking for, at this point as well as guys, especially when you're looking at, all these running backs towards the end. And it's such a volatile, position with these guys getting hurt all the time, at running back. So grab a few at that point. I think I ended up with 7 total. Let me take a look up here. Yeah, 7 total, which is a little bit more than I normally do, but this is a 20 rounder. So, not anything too crazy. And then my tight ends, which I already talked about, kind of why I went with the 4 build there instead of the 3. So
Yeah, so you went 2,774, right?
4. Mm-hmm.
Is that
Yes.
right? Yeah, 2,774.
4. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
the running back build, I've caught myself doing this lately. I want to get to that 7-8 of the wide receiver.
Right.
Usually I'm two quarterbacks and I try to be somewhere around 4, 5 maximum running backs. And then I'll just fill in best available from there, depending on the roster spots. But
Absolutely.
don't hate it. Don't hate the build at all. A little concerned with having 7 running backs.
Well, I purposely did not go with a hero running back build. I waited and I put it off quite a while. I think the 2 guys that I have as my 2 starters, Najee Harris, Raheem Mostert, those are guys that have a ton of potential, a ton of upside. I mean, Raheem Mostert had the most touchdowns in the league last year, which I got him in the 8th round, which I think is just, again, just the utter disrespect being thrown on Raheem Mostert is just disgusting. But I will keep drafting him in the 8th round until I can't anymore.
Same thing with Najee Harris, one of the very few running backs that's got 1,000 yards every year.
Yeah. So, I feel good with those 2 starters, and hopefully, I don't really even need to look at the rest of the guys on my team until bye week. So
there you go. All right, Stacy, let's get the hell out of here. Listen, look, I know we're drafting this in May.
Yeah.
Literally the day before the schedule comes out.
Right.
Stacy.
Yeah.
What does that mean for next week?
That means next week we're going to be going hardcore on the correlation. We will have that schedule out. If I know anything about this best ball or fantasy football community, I'm sure somebody is going to put together a really nice sheet, that kind of cheat sheet that's going to help us, have all that, information all in one spot. And then we're going to be going back and tapping that underdog well, doing one of the either, best ball manias or the puppies or whatever's out there that's available next week on the 21st. Just to see, I always find the correlation is the heaviest in underdog. You really see it in that particular format. So that's why we wanted to go back there after the schedule release, on our next show after that to see what those drafts are looking like now that everybody knows what week 17 is going to look like.
Yeah, I'm stoked for tomorrow. I'm stoked for next week so that we can dive deep into the correlation that gives us roughly 6 days or so to actually dive into the correlation to figure out what players and what fits, and actually go and try to build some teams that we can look at weeks 15, 16, and 17 and go, this is why we've talked about the first 5, 6 weeks. And now we can translate it into what correlation and how to do these teams. If you haven't already, do not forget to hit that subscribe, hit that thumbs up for us. We absolutely 100% appreciate it. And Mr. Scampers, we appreciate you. The best cat in the business, by the way, folks. The best cat in the business. Next week, as Stacy just said, we're going to dive back into the underdog streets, get you over there to a Best Ball Mania. Probably more than likely, Stacy, Best Ball Mania.
Mania. If it looks like the puppy's getting close to filling, maybe we'll jump in to do those those just so that we can do that. Best Ball Mania is going to be available the entire summer for us. So it just depends on. It's going to depend on what it looks like a little bit closer to Tuesday. But I don't think that puppy's filling up anytime soon. Although I could be wrong. I'm sure this weekend's going to be huge for drafting, especially once the schedule drops. So you never know.
Oh yeah, as soon as the schedule drops, I'm sure it will be. I just want to look real quick at the puppy is 41% filled right now. Okay. So but they're allowing 111,000. That means only 50,000 people have joined. So we've got a little bit of time.
Only 50,000. Yep.
Don't forget, Club Fantasy FFL has you covered 5 nights a week currently. Yes. There are shows in the works there, Stacy. Just so you know, there's more shows coming.
Oh, I know.
Tuesday night, you can always find Stacy and myself right here with Masterclass, the best ball program. 8:30 most times, unless we have a special. Tomorrow morning, Who's Your Caddy? Golf DFS will be released. Tomorrow night, the flagship show, no pun intended, at 7. Saturday morning at 11, mock it like it's hot. And then Dynasty After Party on Sunday at 11. Mocking with the Stars Monday night at 10 p.m. Listen, the gauntlet that we've gone through with the stars that we've had, Stacy, holy smokes. Guess who we have coming on Monday? Chris and I have a
Ooh.
huge guest coming Monday. We thought Pat Fitzmaurice was great. We have Jagger May Monday.
No way.
Yes, Fantasy Blue Chip himself.
Don't miss that show.
Yeah, Fantasy Blue Chip himself. I've got to. I don't know what draft we're gonna do yet, but we're gonna have fun with Jagger, planting some flags. Stacy, tell the good people, the viewers, the listeners, where they can find you. What are you working on?
Guys, you can find me on the Twitter machine over at Stacy_Perez 83. Working on putting together a bunch of fun drafts for y'all over the summer. You know what I'm going to be working on this week, Gator, is memorizing week 17. That's what I'm going to be working on this week.
Yes, week 17. Got to know it.
Got to know it.
All right, folks, you can find me at FantasyJ77 over there on Twitter. And as always, Stacy's DMs, my DMs, Club Fantasy's FFL DMs, they are always open if you have questions, concerns, show ideas, platform ideas that you want different, best balls on. Do not hesitate. Hit us up. And until next time.